Mustache Tales.
Yeah!
Hello, it's Jay Chandrasekhar and Hayes MacArthur, and we're here with a new episode of Mustache Tales. Our guest today is famous for directing all of the Jackass movies and the Motley Crue movie Dirt, Jeff Tremaine. Hello, Jeff.
What's happening?
This story happened right a little bit after Johnny Knoxville and I made Dukes of Hazzard. So it was the winter, and I get a call at my house. I was living up in the Hollywood Hills, and so was Knoxville. And he said, hey, I got a question for you. Would you mind helping us out with a little gag in Jackass 2? And I was like, immediately, my tentacles were up, because the one thing, as you know, Jeff, is you never trust Johnny Knoxville. Frankly, I wouldn't trust you either, or any of your people, because I got to know you all pretty well during the making of Dukes, and I felt occasionally tricked.
People, you mean the Jackass
the
people?
Jackass people. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The Jackass people. I didn't mean to trend into some sort of racial incident that quickly. But thank you for saving me, Hayes. So look, during Jackass, Knoxville and brought me into that game where you randomly punch your friend in the balls without warning. And he did it to me repeatedly. It was one of those games you had to really learn. It took a long time to learn to cover your balls up every time he was around.
Is it a game, or is it just
a way of life?
It's torture.
It's torture. Well, he hit you real hard. Like, I was giving a speech thanking.
There's only one rule: hit the guy in the ball.
That's right. I was giving
easiest game in the world.
On the last day of the Dukes of Hazzard, I was giving a speech thanking the entire crew and the cast. And boom, he drills me right there, right in the middle of my damn speech. Like, there was no safety. Let alone, of course, while he went out every single night in Louisiana during that period. We connected over that. And, he was, at the time, he was on, I think it was Adderall. And so I would be sitting there drinking with him, just me and him, and I'd hear a clink, and you'd look, and, there's a little pink pill in your glass where he had tried to just loft it in, but he actually clinked against the glass. He was terrible basketball player. But anyway, I was on edge. So he's like, can you help us with a little gag on Jackass 2? And I'm like, so I go over to his house, or someone's house, and Spike Jonze is there, and you're there. And the gag is explained to me by you guys, is that Aaron Danger is going to dress like a Middle Eastern terrorist. He's going to be wearing a dynamite vest. He's going to be attempting his best Middle Eastern accent, which you all assured me would be terrible. And he will be wearing a beard made of the pubic hair of all the members of Jackass. And that the gag was that I would be playing a cab driver, because I'm Indian, and he wouldn't notice, was the idea.
You people.
So then I would pick him up in a cab, drive him to the Burbank airport, but he thinks I'm driving to the Burbank airport, but I'm really driving him to a location that you guys have rigged with cameras and then at the end of that, basically what I'm told is, on the way to the airport, he's going to insult America and insult my wife. And I am supposed to get mad at him. I'm supposed to blow by the Burbank airport, pull into an enclosed alley, get out of the car, pull a gun, which is a fake gun, but he was promised by you guys that the gun wouldn't be there. The driver would not have a gun. That's what he was promised, right? And so I was supposed to pull this gun, get out of the car, yank him out of the car, punch him, kick him, dominate him like an animal so he knew he was dominated, and get him in the goddamn trunk. And then shut the door, and then I was done, and you guys would come in and drive around and do donuts and whatever. And I was looking at Knoxville and looking at you and looking at Spike. I'm like, look, I'm no fucking idiot, okay? I know this is a double cross. I know you're going to fuck me somehow. And Knoxville says, normally you would be dead right. But this one time, we need your help, and we are not going to double cross you this one time. And I said, all right, I mean, I'll just wait for the fucking double cross to hit. I'm going to do it. And on the day of, the only difference that happened was, one of you, I think you asked me if you could shave my pubes as well to add them to the mix. So I was going to the bathroom, and you're like, hey, can a cameraman come in with you? And I'm like, no. so I shaved him. Trust me, they'll be my pubes. And he had some pubes on his face too. And to all your credit, the gag went incredibly well.
For us, for us, it was a win. If we got our pubic hair on his face, that's where our goal was, right? Anything after that was just gravy time, And, but we did predict it all the way through, all the way to the very end, Like, we luckily had it planned out to fucking put him in the trunk, drive him. Like, I couldn't believe we got it that far. But
well, when I pulled the gun, he goes to Dimitri, who was in the back with the camera, pretending to be on his side. He said, "I told you he'd have a gun," and you're like,
well, he brought the idea of the gun up. So the night before, he was like, what if he has a gun? I'm like, oh, he won't have a gun. And then right away, Knoxville's like, we got to get a gun. So he helped write the idea.
Jay, I saw that before I knew you. And when I was watching the movie, I thought, I don't know how they're going to pull this off, because I would assume that you would be recognized, right? Like it's a hard one. But, again, the Indian cab driver, you fell into that trope. It's kind of why you wouldn't assume.
No. It was
you were driving the cab. Like, what are the chances?
It was a stroke.
But it was a double cross. It was a double cross.
Yeah, just not on me, which I was totally fine with.
Not on you.
It made a lot of sense. And what you guys all told me was he's going to be so up his own ass trying to remember how to do this accent that he won't even see you. Because I was like, I have a little bit of an ego, and I'm like, look, he's a guy in his 30s. I mean, how could he not have seen Super Troopers? It's illogical to me, right? I was like, and then the dude doesn't even recognize me. I'm like, motherfucker. What? And then at the end, he goes, are you an actor? And I'm like, what? Am I an actor? How dare you?
Yeah, that is one of the greatest. It's the longest thing we've ever shot too, like for Jackass. Like, that's like a 10-minute prank in a movie that has almost 60 in it, 60 different pranks. That one is 10 minutes. That tells you how much the other ones were. So
the boards clapping in the back as a heightening to the gun to make it seem like you were firing rounds into the trunk.
Like, incredible, because once he was in the trunk, everybody runs in. They're like, you're done. And I kind of walk away. The boards come out. They're slamming the two blocks. Then a driver, I don't know who the driver was, but he just starts fucking rolling donuts. And then the trunk is popped, right? And he gets out. He's just dizzy. And then he throws up. And then he's like, then you tell him the pubic hair is in his beard and it's in his mouth. Like, it was just magic. It was one magic thing after another.
All the way down to one of our guys having crabs, and you can actually see the crabs on his pubic hair. Like, it was all real. Like, so
that was real too. One of you guys had crabs?
Yeah,
I remember the joke, but I never realized you guys were that good.
You can actually see crabs. I never knew that they were non-microscopic. Like, you can see the little thing crawling around on the pubic hair. It's funny because we kept just trying to see, all right, well, if it goes here, like we're in, just crazy town, so let's just make it as crazy as possible. So we kept pushing it. And then he stayed on script the whole way. Like, holy shit.
I mean, and what I was told by Spike was, when you get to the parking spot, turn around and punch him in the face. And I was like, okay, I mean, I'll do it. And he goes, no, you have to make him psychologically feel dominated and have no chance of beating. So just drill it, right? And I'm like, we'll do it. And he goes, then pull him out. I want you to stomp him. Just stomp him until he's given up. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, what if he fights back? I'm like, I'll fight him, I guess. I don't want to. He goes, no, he'll never. Knoxville's like, he'll never fight back because we never fight civilians. And I'm like, okay. I mean, okay. And then at the last minute, they're like, maybe it's better if you just sort of bitch slap him several times and then pull him out, but do stomp him. And I'm like,
we never told you not to punch him in the face.
I was grateful that I didn't have to punch your friend in the face. I know he would have gotten the joke, but I don't know. He has so few teeth as it is. I didn't want to be like knock out even more.
Do you remember you also missed the turn? Like you were supposed to turn into that parking lot and you drove right past it. So we were all panicked, like, oh, fuck, what are we going to do? We're getting too close to the airport. So we pulled our van in front of you and he didn't notice that we passed you.
Yes. So there was
we led the way into the parking lot.
Yes. I was told that the FBI would shut the gag down because they didn't trust you guys. And they're like, if you really take him to the airport, we're going to pull in and shut the whole fucking thing down, right? And so I'm like, so you guys are like, don't drive anywhere near the airport. And I'm like, got it. I got it. But here I am trying to fucking, I have terrible sense of direction. If I think it's a left turn, I should always just take a right turn. So I'm like trying to act and panicking and driving around. And suddenly I've missed the turn. And I'm driving by the Burbank airport, and I'm like, oh, no, they're going to be so bummed. So I'm flooring it.
Flat.
And then you guys realize I'm lost in the follow van, and you cruise by me like fast because I'm going so fast. And then I'm like, okay, good. And then I find he led me to the alley. He doesn't notice because he really is doing this terrible Arab accent. I mean...
Oh, shit.
Well, the rule of not punching civilians, really, you do have some parameters around this stuff when you guys would create these gags, because that would buy you a lot of leeway. Like, if you know you can't fight the guy, then, you know, when Dave England's taking a crap in the store, he could have gotten pummeled by the store owner. It's always one step away from a fight.
Right. Well, the goal is to start the fight, but don't participate in it. Just take whatever they give you and then keep it moving.
It's the rule.
Can you tell? I mean, I've heard the story of the origin of Jackass before, and can you tell me? I mean, you could tell the story, or I could tell you what I think it is. But go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you. So I was running a skateboarding magazine called Big Brother Magazine, which was really a humor skateboarding magazine. Like
out of where?
Did a lot of. We were out of El Segundo, California.
Got it.
And we started making videos to go with the magazine, basically skate videos, but with little skits and shit in between. And when we were about to make our second video, I'd become friends with Knoxville, and he pitched this idea. He wanted to try out all this self-defense equipment on himself. Like he wanted to, pepper spray his eyes, stun gun himself, get hit with the taser darts, and then he wanted to go to the desert and shoot himself in the chest wearing a bulletproof vest. And I'm like, that's a fucking great idea.
It is a great idea, but was he concussed from high school football or something? Like where did he get this mentality?
Well, he was just trying to make it somehow. Like he loved doing crazy shit, and he knew we were into it. I don't know where that idea came from. You have to ask him on that idea. But I pushed it as far as that's a great idea. Let's do it. And so, and I'm like, and you got to film it, I was about to send Dimitri to film it. And then I started thinking about that bulletproof vest. And I know he got the cheapest one on the market because that's all he could afford at the time.
Wait, Jeff, just back on Dimitri, which is so amazing because I don't think a lot of people know this. The guy who shot the original gag with Knoxville getting shot with the gun is still been with you guys for everything, for the whole run, and he was the only guy you could find that would actually film it, right?
Well, it wasn't Dimitri. It was going to be Dimitri, but at the last second I pulled him because I didn't know. Then I started freaking out about the shooting the gun. So it's actually Loomis who's still with the guy with the little
right.
He's filming, and he's not a cameraman by any means.
No.
So the camera work in the so Knoxville. I mean, I'm sorry. So Dimitri did film all the other parts. He just didn't film the bulletproof vest part, and that you can definitely tell is filmed by a non-cameraman. So
The potential suicide part he didn't film.
exactly, the potential suicide part.
Wow.
So
I mean, wow.
so anyway, we put that in the second video, and it took off. That video was popular, and
On the
I went
internet?
through it was popular. I mean, popular like through the world of skateboarding, through my world at that time. I was
So like passed
running it.
down or like, I mean,
passed around, and yeah, like just our sales were good. Like it was just people liked it, and
Yeah.
so I went to Spike, who knew what we were up to, and I said, "Hey, I think we can make a TV show out of this." And I talked to Knoxville about it before I went to Spike, and Knoxville was into it, and so Spike basically, had all the access to making it a real TV show. So that's basically the story.
It was a VHS tape, dude, that was getting passed around like skateboard videos were
Yeah,
getting passed
I
around.
cut together like
a bootleg.
Yeah, I cut together our shit with Bam stuff, some of his CKY stuff, and some other shit. I just made a sizzle of what we can do. And that thing got duped and duped and duped all through through CAA, and everyone was passing it around at that point.
the story I had heard is not, I mean, I've heard this story, I guess so too, but I had heard something about a Greek restaurant, and that, like in Chicago, there's a place called Greektown, and after you eat your food, you take the plate and smash it on the ground and say, "Opa." And what I heard was that you were at some Greek restaurant and Spike Jonze smacked one of you in the head and was like, and then you guys were all smacking each other with these plates, and then that somehow turned into Jackass. So that's not it.
No, that's not it. Something like that did happen. We were, I think it's when we committed, the three of us had dinner with our wives and girlfriends at the Chateau, kind of when we committed to doing Jackass 3, I think it was. And
3D.
on the way out, 3D, yeah. And on the way out, Knoxville had stolen one of those. They have real nice dinner plates at
Sure.
the Chateau. So big, heavy dinner plate. And that the driveway going out, we're walking down the driveway, and he just runs up behind Spike and just slams him over the head with that dinner plate, and it just turned to dust. And there was like one little drop of blood on the back of Spike's head, and that was it. I'm like, oh, I mean, it turned into dust. I mean, it just went boom, and I don't even know why. I didn't see it coming at all. But that was just how we opened.
That was the greatest use of 3D I have ever and still have ever seen, in my view. And I saw Avatar in the theater at the Cinerama Dome, and that's the second greatest use of 3D in my view.
Yeah, we
But
tried
I
to
thought-
just shut the door on it.
I
Do
mean,
you remember the last shot of that movie, Jay, when they Jeff put the whole cast in the room and wired it with explosives, and
Yeah.
it was shot in slow motion?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember seeing that in 3D, and the heightening of that. It started with like a water tank, a little electric spark, and by the end, the entire room was flooded and bodies were coming flying.
We almost lost Wee Man in that shot. Yeah, like he got sucked out and trapped under the little. We had a little like what do you call that? That fencing that, and he got stuck under it, under this rushing water tank that was flooding.
Oh, because there
room.
was something holding the stuff in the room from
Yeah,
coming out.
It
and
was
he was
basically
pinned.
trying to
Oh.
catch the debris so it didn't go into the drain or whatever, and so he got pinned into that.
Jay, you asked the question about how Jackass started.
Yeah.
And Jeff told the story, and then you had your version of the story. I have a different theory. And it goes back to Jeff's grandfather, who, Myron Tremaine, who Jeff and I are, for the 6 people who know, our cousins, my great-grandfather and his grandmother were brother and sister. And the families still run tight, which is why it's so great to see you. So knowing Jeff, the way I know him, you always figure out, you're trying to think like, what makes him tick? Like, how does he figure all this stuff out? So Myron Tremaine, who was married to Esther Wertz Tremaine, were a couple who they were on an army base. Jeff's grandfather was General Patton's. I'm not taking you for a walk. I swear this is all true. Jeff's grandfather was General Patton's doctor, like personal doctor, like the guy who was in charge of, liberating the free world and defeating the Nazis. Patton, the guy behind that guy was Myron, was Jeff's grandfather. The brilliance and ingenuity at that time to be in charge of perhaps one of the most important people in the world, General Patton, is incredible. Now, when you think about that, and then you think that his grandson is wiring, with that same brain set and ingenuity, is wiring porta potties to explode and shoot them in the air with bungee cords, or put his penis in a sock and stick it into an aquarium with a cobra. It's the same talent on that side of the family that's come down from generations. Jeff is just using his powers in different ways.
I'm trying to just drag the family name into the deepest mud pit.
But people don't know you were like, would you consider yourself an army brat?
I am. Well, yeah, because my dad was also in the army. And so
as
yes.
a doctor,
yeah.
So you were on bases, right? Like
I was on bases. Yeah. Yeah. So.
But like on bases, like in what parts of the country? Like you're with military personnel your whole life, or the most disciplined, regimented, polite people in the world, right?
Like growing up, we were in San Francisco on the Presidio Army base. But that was when it was an active base during Vietnam. And so we lived there, and then
that's the most beautiful base in the country.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's the only time I actually ever lived on a base. After that, we lived around the base, but not on it.
But your childhood was you were in school on a base. We've never really discussed this. The reason that this brought me out, I was talking to my dad before I said we were going to sit down with Jay and have this conversation, and he just was like, "Oh, yeah." I mean, he's the one who cued me on that story. He's like, "Oh, you got to tell Jeff. You got to ask him about David. One of the great." You talked about your dad, one of the great orthopedic surgeons in the world, man. My dad called me brother when he's talking about it. He's like, he started talking about your dad. He started at the Naval Academy, and then he transferred to West Point. I mean, he was doing deep cuts on the whole thing. Yeah, Bruce was just all over
your dad. I remember one of the first memories I have of your dad was we were in Miami, and my dad wasn't there. He had to stay back because he was working or whatever. And so we're on a family vacation in Miami, and your dad comes over, and he decides to prank call my dad. And so your dad pretends to be a general who needs a hip replacement. And also my dad just turns into, "Oh, yes, sir, no, sir." Like my dad's
he knew right where to get him.
Oh, your
dad's like, "This is what I do."
It was so fucking funny because
they're generals.
I've never seen anyone get my dad like to just bow down. It was so funny just to watch your dad just magically tear him down. It was great.
So like he prank calls him, he's totally bullshitting with him. Then when he says general, your dad like falls in line. He also told me to tell you this. He said, and just, tell Jeff, and this is a deep cut, Hayes, you got to tell him that Myron, by proxy of taking care of General Patton, liberated my father in Stalingrad 3 under the Nazis when we won the European theater. I was like, what?
Have you had your dad on? Because you sound just like your fucking dad, too, by the way.
Hayes, would your dad do it?
Oh, I think he would.
Yeah.
I think he would.
And his dad's funny.
Get my brother back. We had my brother on a couple weeks ago.
I saw a little clip on it. That was funny.
He's so funny. The porta potties, nobody on Dukes of Hazzard ever went into the porta potties after Sean William Scott went in on the first day, and immediately Knoxville's rocking the thing, and I'm like, we got to shoot with him. You can't get shit all over his clothes, please. And from then on, the entire cast and crew just pissed next to the porta potty. Nobody would ever go in.
We wrote a porta potty bit for the new movie, and I was like, fuck, man, no one is ever going into a porta potty on our set. And we rigged it so there was just no other way. Like we had people on parole yelling at anyone who pissed in we were at this it wasn't a ranch, it was a quarry. And we had there was no buildings around. So, and we had somebody who said listen, you cannot pee on, there's natural foliage around that you can't eat. And so everyone was on high alert. So we were trying to just funnel them into the porta potties, and it worked. Eventually, it took a minute, but.
Have you had, what would you say was the biggest one? Because it's always the trick on the trick and then how to get people to do the trick so you can do the trick. Have you had stuff that you thought was just a home run and when you executed it, it didn't work? Like like on paper, it was just supposed to be the best prank ever. And
Man, I'm trying to think. We've had a lot of times it's the biggest idea we set up. It's the one that's probably not going to work. And we tried to do a human Rube Goldberg, like where everyone went through a torture stunt in the first movie. It was expensive. We spent like, I don't know, $60,000 on this one, which was a ton of money for us. Like on this one stunt that everyone had their own little moment in it, and we just couldn't get it to work right. But that's the same day that Wee Man kicked himself in the head, which was the funniest fucking thing to us. Like he just.
Yeah.
I mean, Jay, you know what it's like when you're asking a studio to give you money for an idea. And then imagine these guys going in asking they've got it budgeted out and they're like, we want to do this. And like people in suits are like, let's see if this is worth it. How much does it cost? Is there insurance? Like,
I have footage of us going in. It's more, this is not about asking for, this was with all the Paramount executives on Jackass 3D. We brought Matt Hoffman with us, and he ended up just filming this meeting. Like, I don't know why we brought him, but he was just with us, so we brought him into this. We're going in to talk to Paramount. They had seen a rough cut, and we were going in to basically fight for every frame of penis we could get. Yeah, like, because they kept telling us, no, it's too much. You got to cut it down. And we were in there just trying to fight for penis with all the executives.
Are you talking about number 4?
No, this is 3. This is like the craziest thing is we went to war for every frame of penis. Like there's this one shot, we shot it. We were using the Phantom camera. That's why the 3D they look so good. We built a 3D Phantom camera, so it's super slow motion. So you live in the 3D. You really like, get to see it all. And we did this stupid little shot where Knoxville pitches a ping pong ball to Pontius, who's naked, and he swings his dick and hits the ping pong ball, and then Bam tries to catch it in his mouth.
Incredible.
And it was incredible. It looks so cool. Like the dick just wraps around the ball and it goes super slow motion. And we get a note back from the MPAA like, that's too much peen. It's just on there too long. So I sped it up a little bit. I sped it up to the point where it stops being funny it stops looking super cool, right? Like what worked about it is how cool that you can see all the little dents in the dick as it, hits the ball. And so I sped it up to where it still looked cool and then resubmitted. And it was still like a 30-second shot. And after that the magic got lost, so I'm like, this is it. And like now 30 seconds is too much. I'm like, and I'm dealing through Paramount who deals with the MPA. So we have
they
a middleman.
They don't let you talk directly.
Right. So they have a middleman that's going in there and saying, oh, the filmmakers want more penis shot. And so
trying to explain the rule of comedy that it gets funnier the longer
it
gets.
Right. And so it comes back, they're like, they'll let you have that shot of exposed penis for 10 seconds. Like some arbitrary 10 seconds is what. And so we're like, all right, well, we're just so fuck you guys at this point that we put a black bar over the dick. And then right where it starts to look cool, the black bar, it's like the sensor just lost the tracking. So the dick comes out from under the black bar, hits the ball, and then the black bar catches up exactly at the 10-second mark. And so that was our solution to get that one on. The funniest thing is like, and then we just did Jackass Forever, and
it's all dick.
It's all dick. And they never said, oh, less of it. I mean, I think everyone just had COVID brain and was like, oh, fuck, or they were watching it at home and they just got distracted and came back to it.
My wife and I went to see that film and we left it and she goes, whole lot of dick.
I mean, it was just, I think that's what my mom said too.
Knoxville sent me 3 questions for you that he said would be good stories. So He asked me to ask you about the time Steve-O and Pontius were written up as heroes on Richard Branson's reserve, maybe in Australia.
No, it was in Africa. I don't think it was Richard Branson's. It was this 5-star. We're shooting the. I'll set it up. So we were shooting the pilot for a show called Wild Boys, which was a show I did for MTV right after the success of the first Jackass movie. So basically, I could do anything I wanted, and so I pitched a nature show to MTV, and they're like, "Well, but it'll be like Jackass nature show." And they're like, "All right, let's try it." So we go, and they pay for us to shoot the pilot in South Africa. And so we're down there to shoot gray white sharks and all kinds of cool shit. And we're staying at this really beautiful resort. And it's like on a nature reserve. It's all these like stone buildings with wood thatched huts, really nice. And for some reason, we let Pontius and Steve-O room together. Everyone else is like, staying separate. The crew's teamed up, but Pontius and Steve-O were staying in the same room. And each of these rooms had a little stove fireplace kind of thing with a little pipe that ran, an old-fashioned stove thing. And it was cold. South Africa's cold. Like in the winter, we were there in the wintertime. And so they showed us how to make a fire. And I think Steve-O just got super stoned and just filled the thing full of the wood. And so he looked at the pipe, and the pipe was red hot going all the way up to the roof. And the roof is just this thatched, like this wood thatched roof, right? And so the sparks start flying out. The whole place catches on fire. And Pontius is freaking out. They're running around like, fire, fire. And the people next door to them, who were journalists, wouldn't wake up. So Pontius breaks the window, goes in, wakes them up, grabs all their shit, pulls it. Like, they save these two people. And I think this fucking shit is, I get woken up to there being a fire, and I'm like, I thought I was being pranked, and then I look up and the sky is just red, and I'm like, holy shit.
Right.
Like it burned down 3 units to the ground. Like, so the end of the day, there was I'll send you photos, Jay. You can put them up there. Like, it was just.
I mean, you have to be thinking that this is a prank of some sort, right? Like,
I
in
was
your
just like,
brain, fire. Someone wakes you up. You're like,
it's
all
like
right,
5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm being woke. Oh fuck! And we're supposed to go out on a boat and try to get attacked by great white sharks. And so I'm like, oh fuck! And I wake up to this,
survive this fire, and they go swim with sharks.
And and MTV let us stay out there. They're like, yeah, just stay, whatever. And it turns out the journalists wrote this article about how Chris and Steve-O saved them. The press was all good. Never mentioned that Chris and Steve-O also started the fire. So it just, they got written up as heroes. And the pilot came out great. We actually went out that morning, and Chris and Steve-O jumped out of the boat and landed right on the back of a great white shark, and then jumped in the cage.
But this is a separate shark incident from the time that Poopy almost got his hand bitten off.
Different time, yeah. That was a definitely different time.
That one was the
Shark Week.
Right?
That was
like something bad went.
Yeah, that was bad. So that was for Shark Week. Yeah,
that was a Shark Week, and it was a shark bite on Shark.
I mean,
Week.
it almost bit his hand off. It was fucking scary as shit. Yeah.
Is his hand still damaged?
It's still I think it pretty much works. Like, we were lucky. Like I don't know. I think it's still a little bit stiff from the scar tissue in there, but last time I saw it was working great.
Pretty much works. Okay.
And wait, that when that I just want to, before we move on, when that happens, like, so you're capturing stuff and you're really trying to, not just pull the trick off, but actually make it look good on film. And sometimes there's like elation, like we did it, we got it. If some guy's hurt, it's okay because we got it. This was just a downbeat.
It was crazy because, the stunt was, right? We were trying to do the Fonzie jump the shark bit, like where we dressed Poopies up like Fonzie. We had a ramp out in the middle of the ocean, and we were chumming in front of the ramp and had it boiling with sharks. And he was on water skis, and he was going to launch, over the sharks and, be the big hero, just like Fonzie. And it ended up, he hit the jump and basically just slammed not very far past the jump. And we were all thought that's hilarious. Like, it took a second. So we're watching it and like, oh, he didn't, make it. And then the sharks came from over where the ramp was and just swam up and it was right at the top of the surface. So we're all right there. We could see it happen. And it was so scary. Yeah.
So there's a version of that where he's in the water and the sharks don't bite him.
Right.
And he gets out.
Which is what we thought would happen. But we got a little cocky. So.
You thought that would happen even though you chummed the water like crazy and had it boiling with sharks?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. This is Knoxville's second question, and then there's one more. So ask him about the fight he and Bam got into in New Orleans while filming the second movie.
So I don't know if that's a great story. I mean, basically we were
I have a different one if you want. He could say this one. I have a whole bunch, actually. I just picked three.
Okay.
So he said, ask him about the time Knoxville almost cummed on him in Germany.
Oh, my God.
You could answer that one or this one. Since he's drinking almost everyone's pee in Jackass, who is his favorite tasting pee? Knoxville offered that Wee Man's was his favorite.
Yeah, Wee Man's tastes the best of all the guys. And there's the least amount of other shit in it besides just,
clean living.
I'll tell you the come down story, because you were lucky you got out in the old days where hitting the nuts at the bar, that was the big stuff. That, it evolved. Our barroom antics evolved quite a bit, or devolved, I guess you would say, to where it turned into you'd sneak up and pee on each other, pee in our drinks, light each other on fire. And then the goal came to, I'm going to sneak up and come on, which is hard. That's a hard one to pull off. And one day we were doing...
That's a lot of timing.
It's a lot of time. Yeah, because no one is going to take a willing, sit there and take it. So we were doing press for, I think it was Jackass. It was Jackass 2 or Jackass 3, I don't remember. But I remember I had to use his computer or something. So I knocked on his door and I went into his room and I'm on his computer, and we had these big ass suites, like Paramount hooked us up. And I think we were in Germany, and I'm on his computer in this little like kitchen area, and I hear this giggling coming from way back in his bedroom. And all of a sudden he just comes barreling towards me naked, jerking it. And I'm like, holy shit. And luckily I had enough time to just dive into the bathroom and slam the door. And so I'm holding the door shut, and it's a small enough bathroom where I can just totally wedge and just hold the door shut so he couldn't open it. And then he just, I guess he jerked off on the wall and missed me. So,
I mean, it's hard enough to do when you're standing up or lying
it was in
down,
a full
but
sprint,
to ejaculate while you're running at your best friend jerking.
I mean, and just pulling taffy, just speed jerking it. So.
Yeah, imagine if you got used to that the next time you're with your wife. You're like, this is good, honey, but do you mind standing over there? I'm going to run at you.
On that same trip, we were in Sweden, and I was super hungover, getting ready to go do press. I'm in the back of the van, and I fell asleep, and then I wake up, and I feel this little, hit my face, And I look up, and bam, it's over me, jerking, trying to come on me, but he had this long scarf that hit me before he could. So I just woke up and just punched him in the dick as hard as I could and just scurried out of there.
That's the Army-based training, Jeff.
That's the Army-based training.
That's the benefit of growing up on an Army base.
I remember two stories now. One is that I was at Willie Nelson's birthday at the Roxy because we were used to hang with him quite a bit. And I was talking to Toby Keith, and I realized there was someone's like, fire! And Knoxville had shot a pool of lighter fluid, and my left shoe was on fire. And I was like, motherfucker, I don't even know about this kind of gag. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, and Toby Keith, it was just whatever. And then the other thing that happened was we were flying to London for the Dukes of Hazzard premiere on a private plane. And so I'm sitting across from Jessica Simpson, and I fall asleep and I wake up with Knoxville's balls like draped under my ear, and she's taking a photo. I was like, okay, the phone is out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you lose your Senate seat.
Yeah.
So this is the third question was this. He says, so apparently, Jeff, you work out 3 to 4 times a week. So he said, who is his trainer? Chef Boyardee?
I will not disparage. I will not disparage my trainer, but it's my dietitian that I need to fire. So,
all right, cool. So, can we talk about Dirt, the Motley Crue movie? I mean that book about Motley Crue is like famous as like the I've read some Led Zeppelin books. I've read the Grateful Dead book, and they're all quite debaucherous. But that book is the sort of the famous one for the really, really nasty stuff. And so, in terms of the nudity and the sex and the drugs and all that. And so when I heard you were making a movie, I'm like, wow, it's going to be. I mean, you kind of got it in right before the moment where it would be a much more difficult movie to make because there's just tons of nudity and drugs.
Yeah, no, we made that in 2018, which was a hard time to make that movie.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But it is what it is. The book was what it was.
Right.
You had to.
Yeah, we had to, and
it's funny because for years
that book we passed around like right when we made the first Jackass movie. That book we. Believe it or not, all the guys read, and we all read that book like, holy shit. And then as years went on, and even up to that point, I connected to that book just because I felt like, man, I'm living this right now. I'm right in this world, for all the good and bad of it. We've been through the addiction, the whole fucking thing. But I really connected to that on a level that's why I wanted to do that movie so bad, just because. Not that I was the biggest Motley Crue fan, but that I really felt like I understood what it's like to be a passenger on that.
That was like going around with that Jackass crew. It was like there were sometimes heavy drugs being used. Like I remember talking to Steve-O one night at a party, and he had these really dark sunglasses on, and was just like, "Yeah, man, yeah." Like that's all he said, just over and over. I'm just talking, yeah. Like you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
He was just not there, not even close.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw it. We did this, we did a 24-hour takeover of MTV once. So it was live, all the Jackass guys. And this was when Steve-O was at the height of his drug addiction. And so he was smoking PCP in the bathroom and getting yelled at by everybody. And then came out and he was just so fucking out of his mind. We basically kicked him out of there. And we needed 24 hours is a long time. But yeah.
That's the line. Like when you're trying to pull something off and there's that much fuckery and partying happening around you, but you're doing, dangerous stuff with high stakes. See, because I know you, there's this part of your brain, I feel like, I don't know if this is the case, but I feel like you can still have an organizational awareness in how we're going to execute this. It's all crazy and nuts, but we've got to we're doing a job.
Yeah, I never saw it during the daytime. Honestly, all the guys came, and if they were doing something, I wasn't aware of it. Everyone takes it pretty serious when we're shooting. They get in there and everyone wants it to be great, and you get a sense. But then there's not we're not drinking beers on set, getting fired up, or shooting. I can't say that back in the day, Steve-O wasn't starting lines before he did shit. I don't know, but most of the debauchery happened at night.
But when you're shooting, it's like a real set.
It's like a real set, yeah, pretty much.
It is a real set, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fuck set, but it's real. We're there to work, but idle hands are the devil's playthings there. So you see, it's they get bored real quick and then start doing other fucking shit while we're setting up a big thing. So,
did Tony Cavallero snort the real ants?
No, those were
in the Dirt movie.
No, but he totally would have if I had provided.
He would have.
Yeah,
maybe he would have.
Yeah, he definitely would have. Yeah, he's the best. He's awesome.
Jay, did you know? Yeah, he's awesome. Do you know that Jeff directed. So for someone who's listening to this, you guys, directors, sometimes get offered gigs to do stuff for corporations or commercials, different side gigs that don't really have to do with, your main thing. And I guess there's a whole representative part of you that you work with, representatives that help you get these gigs. And Jeff directed, I think maybe one of the most improbable safety videos.
Which is probably
the
thing. American Airlines. I did the American Airlines safety video, which I'm so proud of, just that I did it, because someone made the decision, who needs to make our safety video, which will be probably the most viewed piece of content ever, is let's get the Jackass guy to do our safety video. And so I just thought that's
what
so
is that
funny.
board meeting at American Airlines? Like, okay, God, we got time to do another safety video. They're all bummed out. And some just derelicts
we went after that
get
one.
Jeff Tremaine to shoot this motherfucker.
Yeah, it's still crazy to me. Like that was over 10 years ago. That's probably the thing. That's probably the thing I've made that the most people have seen. To be honest, it's like sit there. You have to watch it. Before you used to just have to sit there and watch it. American Airlines is the biggest airline in the world. So it's on every flight. Just every day. So
the stakes are pretty high.
Stakes are high.
Fuck, you got to fucking. Let's get Jeff to do it.
Was it funny?
That's pretty rock and roll on the part of American Airlines.
It's cool. Look, it's visually cool. It's kind of like a little okay go-ish. It's like magic tricks within the camera. Practical stuff.
So nobody's getting sat behind a jet engine, having the jet blow into their face.
If you watched it, you wouldn't think, "Oh, Jeff Tremaine directed that," but it came out. Yeah, I like it.
Have you directed other narrative films besides Dirt?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I thought that the choreography, the camera choreography, and the performance choreography was at a very high level. And I know, I know that Jackass has an immense amount of choreography going, so that you must have felt fairly comfortable in this, because it's really, in my view, like not only is the blocking and the camera moves and the choreography really done well, but there's a lot of you're shooting through glass and you're doing, this when Tommy punches that window, and there's just a lot of in my view, advanced elements to the directing. So good work on it.
Thank you. Yeah, my goal when I did it, was I am going to be the least experienced guy on the whole set. So I just made sure that my DP, my production designer, everyone was just on such a higher level than me. Yeah, I my goal was just I'm going to focus on performance with the actors, and everyone else, you just make it look great. I trust you to do the best job.
Yeah.
So,
did that come after Bad Grandpa? You did the Dirt after Bad Grandpa, right? So Bad Grandpa was I thought the trick to it, why it was so amazing, was that it was a real story being told like a movie, but it was a reality prank show. It was this combination of your storytelling and then the Jackass stuff happening at the same time.
Right. And I'll be honest, that I've done, because I also did, it's called Bad Trip with Eric Andre. I didn't direct it, I produced it, but I was very involved in it. It's a hidden camera narrative. They're hard. That's the hardest kind of movie to make, because you have to make the scripted movie, but you don't have control of your actors, right? So you have control of two people, but the other half of it is they're doing it in front of real people, and you're hoping for the best. But
you got to get story points out, right?
Yeah,
you
still mad.
You put a Jackass tribute into Dirt when Tommy punches that dude in the balls, or gets punched in the balls.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was very familiar to me.
We even I don't know if it made the movie, but we had a guy in the crowd kind of holding up two crutches and an X in a huge crowd scene. So I got a few little nods in there, but
it's and were the members of the band, did they support or show up or get involved or?
Yeah, yeah, it was intense because I'll tell the story of like getting the gig. So like I had to pitch myself to each of the band members to get their approval before I even could get the gig. So, and the first one I met with was Nikki Sixx, who I thought was going to be the hardest guy to win over. And basically I went in there and he was super cool. Kind of, I think didn't take me serious at first. He's like, I'll just meet with this guy, but that's not who I want to get to direct. And then we connected on a cool level. Like I pitched myself as why I feel like I'm the guy who can tell this story with authenticity and everything else. And by the end of the meeting, he was on board. And my next meeting was with Tommy Lee, who I'm hardly prepared for that. I mean, I just figured Tommy's going to he's one of my guys, right? Tommy is going to be easy. Tommy fucking grilled me. Like, he's like, well, how are you going to do this? And I don't know, man. Like, dude, like, he just got really into the weeds on shit and made me work hard to fucking scramble around and win him over. And so I left the meeting thinking, oh, fuck, man, I fucked Tommy Lee's meeting up. And right when I get to my car, he's like, dude, this is going to be so fucking raging, bro. I'm like, where were you in that meeting, man? Like, this is who I thought I was going to be with.
Right.
So that was crazy. But,
because you're like the steward of their story.
Yeah, like
probably took it all. Like,
that's heavy, right? To tell somebody's life story and they're alive, they're going to watch it. I mean, it's a dramatic, gnarly story. So I took it serious, and they were very involved, and they were involved in the right level. Like they didn't they let me do my thing, but they definitely were involved.
And did it follow? Like, must have pare the book down a lot?
It was hard. Yeah, so there was a script that when we started, there was a script that flew around for a long time, and so basically we took that script, but we made it a lot more of a linear story. So we just kind of went through the book, and then he wrote really great scenes. So we just basically kept the scenes we liked his alive, and then filled in all the gaps just through this going through the book, and then limited it to just basically 81 to 89, I guess is the story we told. So
yeah, it's interesting because there have been some other rock and roll movies, and as you watch this movie, there's a scene where they come out towards the end and they're all like, they've got this makeup, like he's got this makeup on and these and they're all wearing these crazy ass outfits, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember when rock stars were basically like big Broadway performers almost, like with high heels and makeup and you're like, God, it would have been. And as they age, they're like, oh, they're still having to do this thing. And it reminded me of Kiss a little bit because as a high school kid, I had a friend who was like a lunatic Kiss Army fan. And as a result, I've seen Kiss 6 times. And I was like, I don't really love Kiss. But every time I go to the show, I was standing on the seat going, cold gin, and you're like, it just revs you up. And I'm like, this is sort of like, because I was not a Motley Crue, like, I knew the songs, but I was not I was more of an Allman Brothers fan, really. And so when I was like, I was like, oh, you should read Dirt. I'm like, I don't know, I'm not a big Motley Crue fan, but they're like, no, that's fantastic. And I'm like, so excited if I didn't see the movie. I'm going to go back and read the book now, but it was, it reminded me of that sort of dress up Kiss kind of thing. And they were, and we all fall into our sort of roles. Like they do all this stuff. The women go, oh, we love this. And then there's all this sex and drugs. And it's all part of a big sort of play, it feels like.
It's also that area of Sunset Strip, right? Like there was something happening for people who haven't been to Los Angeles. If you're coming into Sunset Strip, which is it in Los Angeles, it's on a hill. You used to be able to look out to the right and have great views of the city and everything. But there was just there's a wild ass vortex right in the middle where it's like the Comedy Store and the Rainbow Room and all these rock and roll clubs.
The Roxy.
The Roxy, all this stuff was happening at like those 6 spots from like the 70s, and then punk, the punk rock shit came out of there too at the same time.
Yeah.
It was, everyone was like hanging out at that one space. And I think you guys probably, I mean, we all overlap with it a little in some way going into those bars. The same characters were hanging out there.
I mean, they're still there. Like the
30 years
dinosaurs,
before.
the dinosaurs of metal are still at the Rainbow Bar Grill, right? Like you can go in there on any Saturday night and they're still just, maybe not the rock stars, but the roadies and everyone's there. Like it's still a scene. It's funny. I'm doing a doc series for Paramount right now on 80s hair metal, basically, and telling that story of the Sunset Strip, when metal took it over, and I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't even a huge Motley Crue fan, but I like Motley Crue. But now, since I made the Dirt, it came to me, hey, do you want to make this?
Guy.
I'm like, yeah, I actually do. And it's been awesome because I just got to interview all these guys, and it's. So yeah, I'm a hair metal expert.
You're the historian. You're the historian,
of that whole
area.
scene. Yes, I can tell you.
It's wild because Laurel Canyon is like a half mile up the street, and all the folk hippie Buffalo Springfield wrote that song like a half mile up the street from what became hair metal.
But a lot of the metal dudes, when they made it, moved up to Laurel. Like the guitar player for Rat still lives right down the street here. I'm in Laurel right now. He lives right down the street.
When does hair metal start officially?
I think it starts with Motley Crue, to be honest. Like it was bubbling up, but Motley Crue, like Van Halen sort of sets the table, right? Van Halen, but they break out in the 70s and the door shuts right after Van Halen breaks out. There's no, like, the music industry is not interested in more hard rock coming out of LA, right? They want they want new wave. And then there's still a rock scene, like Quiet Riot is playing. There's a bunch of bands that are, and Nikki Sixx is in a few bands, and it bubbles up. And then, but when Motley Crue starts, like that's something new. They get attention right away. And there's a little scene right behind them. So there's Motley Crue and Wasp, and then Rat right behind them, and then Great White. And it's all bubbling up right there on the Strip, Holy shit, the Jack Russell from Great White is fucking awesome. Like his stories are insane. Like,
and that's in the documentary.
Yeah, that's cool. So
you're sitting down and interviewing these guys, and then it's going to be wow.
So the podcast is sort of sponsored by this app I do called Vouch Vault, which. It's meant to be like the Instagram of recommendations, kind of. That's the concept. It's like you follow people and then you find out what they like, what movies, television, books, restaurants. So at the end of this, we kind of do a little vouching. So I don't know if you've had time to think of anything.
Jay started it quickly. He started it in spite because when you work and you get bad reviews, he was like, "This is bullshit. Rotten Tomatoes is horseshit. So I want to hear people's personal recommendations about stuff, and then people who I can get hip to what they like and go check out that stuff."
Vouch Vault is a spite store, definitely. I built it to take Rotten Tomatoes down, for sure. So I'm going to vouch for, and I'm always a little bit late to parties, but I'm going to vouch for The Bear. Before I do, I want to talk about being late to the party. So you guys made Jackass, and it was a huge hit on television. And whenever something's a huge hit, I'll avoid it. And so I just have a problem. I don't know what's wrong with it. So I just didn't ever see it. I see it on MTV, like kind of go by. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's called Jackass. I'm probably not going to like it. And so I go, I get high, and I go alone to the first Jackass movie at the Beverly Center. And I come in the afternoon, and I'm like, this is the greatest, most funny thing I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. And I call Kevin Heffernan from Broken Lizard, and I'm like, we should break up because it doesn't matter what the scripted bullshit. I mean, it doesn't matter what we do. We're never going to be as good as that. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just depressed now. And then I started watching the television. I became the biggest fucking fan. So the Bear, everyone's talking about The Bear, isn't fucking good, The Bear. And I'm from Chicago, so they're like, you really got to watch The Bear. And so I watched one episode of The Bear, and there was like all this like frenetic camera work. And I don't know, I'm trying to ride a little more mellow lately. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to like The Bear. And everyone's just hounding me to watch The Bear. Finally, I just sit down and start watching The Bear and drinking red wine. And boy, I love this. I love this show. I'm in season 2. I'm not all the way through it yet. I'm about to see the episode. Everyone says that's the great episode. I think it's episode 6 or whatever. But The Bear it's innovative in its camera work. It's innovative in how like different directors seem to do. You know, Rami Youssef did one that was like totally kind of different, and it's just, and it's well acted, and it's all these like non-actor Chicago people are not known,
Right.
but it's great. The Bear is great.
So one of my guys is in that. Like I did a show called Loiter Squad with Tyler, the Creator, and his group of friends. And one of them is this guy named Lionel, who is on that show. He's the pastry chef.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
The guy who
Right.
makes
Awesome.
all the pastries. So
Yeah.
I know
Because
him really
good.
well. Like, yeah,
He's really good.
I've sort of worked with him since he was a kid, basically. Now he's grown up and he's kicking ass in The Bear. So I'm really proud of him.
The amazing thing about The Bear to me, Jay, because I love it as well. One, being from Chicago and the deep cuts that they do of Chicago, but the entire first season, I don't think I'm giving anything away, but the entire first season would be, if you were doing a network show, would be a cold open.
Right.
Like they took 10 episodes to get to, and you're with them every step of
Yeah.
the way, and it's small and it's minutiae. Like, what's this? And then where they get to, if you were trying to tell that whole story in a different format, they'd be like, okay, let's see that in 3 pages or a
Right.
page and a half.
That's what's so great.
It's just it's cool storytelling.
Yeah, the slow burn on unfolding the older brother's story, right? That is so great. You're just waiting for these little nuggets to come out of
I think it's
his
going
older
to
brother's
impact.
backstory.
I
You know?
wonder if they plan that or if they work into it, like there's an older brother, we're going to see him, we don't know. And then he kind of gets mentioned and they lean into it. It's just really like creative the way it unfolds.
No doubt. And hopefully it will impact television going forward for a little while, because it's, everybody seems to love it. And you can go, no, we're going to make it a little bit more like The Bear. We're going to slow it down. Detail work.
Right.
So we'll see.
I'll vouch for something that's also, he's very popular as well. The singer-songwriter, country, Oklahoma now fugitive, Zach Bryan. I got to go to see him live in Idaho. His lyrics are, he's one of those guys who you're listening to and you're like, I feel like I'm going to listen to this guy for a long, long time. And my wife is really into his music, and my daughter, who's 8, is like a huge Zach Bryan fan, probably on cue, just walked in the door. And so I went, I surprised them all with tickets to go down to see Zach Bryan in Boise. And we went into, it was really cool the way they had so he didn't disappoint live is what I'm saying, but the stage was in the middle of the arena. So the pit was like around him. So it wasn't, he played on 4 front row stages, which is totally incredible. And I was there. It was my daughter's first concert, and she got to see Fist Fight, which was scarring and crazy. But it happened with like 4 songs left. And the way the fight went down was I got my 2 girls next to me, and I see this kerfluffle happen kind of in the aisle. It's a smaller arena. And these 2 girls are getting into like a scrap. And there's a giant dude wearing a cowboy hat standing in the middle, kind of like holding them apart. And I'm watching the show and I'm looking at them, and I catch this guy's eye. And in my head, what I'm saying to this guy is, are we okay, man? Like, you got this? This isn't going to go any further, right? And he gave me like a John Wayne nod, like, yeah, man, you just enjoy that concert with your daughter and wife. I got this. And fucking 45 seconds later, Allie screams, nice. And I turn around, and the same guy who was like super cool is just pummeling this other guy.
Shit.
It was one of those fights that was like a beehive, and there was an exploding fight behind me. So I kind of look and I see the fight, and I just stand up between my wife and my daughter and the fight, but I'm not really thinking we're going to leave the show early. And then my daughter starts hysterically crying. And she's processing like this. I know. It was an awesome concert. Then this happens. So I'm like, all right, we're going to leave. And we're leaving and we're walking back to the car in the parking lot and it's dark and she's looking at me and she's terrified. And I go, well, put it this way. You went to your first real rock show and you're never going to forget it. And she was like, yeah, I loved it. And then she's got shit from that one on. She loved it.
Is his music that kind of like shit-kicking country music, or is it like inappropriate that they were fighting like that at this gentle music?
That's a good point. He's like more of a poet, romantic rock and roll guy. It's not like Great White. You wouldn't think that. Yeah, I wouldn't think that they'd be fighting. But I did say to my daughter during the fight, I go, before, when it was just the girls fighting, I said, Vivi, you see those two girls? You know why they're fighting? And she said, no. And I said, because they're drunk and they're dumb. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. And then
it's good for your kids to see their first fight. Like, I mean, I went to a 49ers Rams game, not thinking twice about it. Like that, I had no idea that it's fucking gnarly. And this is back before SoFi. This is me taking little kids to the Coliseum, and holy shit, this fight breaks out and there's no security anywhere around. Like, these guys fought until they got too tired to fight. Right. They're just beating the
no one stepping in.
Blood. When your kids see blood from a fight the first time, it's fucking gnarly. Oh man.
Well, a football game.
And then we're in this stadium and this dude is fucking right in front of us, like standing next to this girl. His arm has disappeared to the elbow. My kids are right
middle
there.
Of the fight.
No, this is not the fight. This is during the game.
This is at the game.
During the game, we're in the stands, and this dude has fucking hand all the way down through her pants and coming up the front. I guess I don't know.
So she's like that That was like that Congresswoman this week. At Beetlejuice.
Fuck.
Jeff Hayes and his brother Scott MacArthur, they went to Blackhawks playoff game in Anaheim. And it was double overtime, and the Blackhawks won. And it was a very big fucking moment. And the Anaheim fans were all really fucking bummed, right? And so Hayes is wearing this fucking Blackhawks shirt, jersey. I got one on too. And we're walking through the crowd to leave, and Hayes is like, hey, I missed the end of the game. Did anyone catch the score? Like, he keeps trying to pick a fight, and his brother's like,
dude, I've had that exact same situation in Anaheim with Hayes, and he's going up to strangers like, hey, I know I'm not really paying attention, but do you know where any good hotels are in the Tampa area? Because I'm going to be going down there to watch the Blackhawks play the Lightning in the next round. Just fucking with these big, and if you pick the biggest,
you guys can fight, right? You're trained martial artists.
I can block a punch with my face.
That was the rule. No fighting back.
Oh my God. So, all right. Let me think. Can I keep it just old school? Like we talked about.
Anything.
I'm thinking of
anything.
The Rainbow Bar and Grill as this just authentic place that hasn't changed since the 60s. I mean, like, we had to recreate this place for the dirt. And I still go back there and have a great time. The food's okay, and I love that it doesn't change, right?
Is it the Rainbow Room or the
Rainbow Bar and Grill? Rainbow Bar and Grill, and you can
that's
just go
right
there.
On Sunset.
It's right on Sunset. And like I said before, like, there's always just somebody from that world. Still, it's like anthropology. You just go there, and it's so fucking great.
I'm gonna go.
So
it is. It's.
Let me know when, Jay. I'll go
booths,
with you.
The circular booths.
Okay,
yeah,
I'd like to go with you. That'll be good. Well, thanks for doing this, Jeff. We really appreciate it.
Fuck yeah, it's awesome, man. You guys are the best. So.
Really good time.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Mustache Tales.